Okay, thanks for the introduction. My name is Andy. I'm the CEO of Blocksec. Today I'm going to talk about the way to secure Web3 through proactive threat prevention. So Blocksec was founded in 2021, backed by some top investors and customers, and we have a couple of products, available to the community, like the Phalcon. I think most of the security researchers, they already use our Phalcon Explorer to virtualize the transactions, and we have the Metadoc, Metasnooze, which are free to the community. So why security matters in Web3, right? So even in this bull market, even in the cycle of the bull and bear markets, the losses caused by the DeFi hacks and DeFi scams are really increasing. And this is not just the numbers, right? We're receiving the emails every day from the victims of the attackers and the scams saying that they have been attacked, they lose all the money, so they want us to help them. So this is just not the numbers. They represent the individuals who are facing the bankruptcy after being attacked, right? We have to help them. So why DeFi hacks are very common today? I think there are a couple reasons. One reason is that we have the attackers, they have the economic incentives to perform the DeFi hacks, because by performing the DeFi hacks, they can get paid. They can get paid by a lot of money, right? So and we do not have enough security qualified developers. Some developers they are more focusing on the functionalities of the protocol, right? They do not have enough security trainings, and the universities they do not teach the blockchain security courses. We do not have too many courses currently available in the community in the universities. And also, some hackers are performed by the countrywide organizations. I do not need to talk too much about this. I think most of them will understand that. So when talking about the security of the protocol, most people will think about the code audit. Yes, and the code audit is the most common way, to solve the security issues in the DeFi protocols. We think the code audit helps, but the code audit is not enough, right? That's because the qualified auditing services are very expensive and also time-consuming, right? You need to waiting 2 months or 3 months, even half year to be audited by a top audit firm. So you can, some protocols they do not have enough time to wait, right? And also we do not have enough qualified auditors in this space, right? So if one auditor firm they just issue the auditor certificates, and this certificate will eventually no longer be trustworthy by the community, right? So because of these reasons, the protocol have to go live without some better tested threat prevention and attack prevention solutions. They just go live without any security measures in their hands. So because of this, we need to have a more proactive approach, right? So the more proactive approach means that a protocol needs to know what is currently happening to their protocol. They cannot just put their protocol online, then go to sleep, right? They need to know what is currently happening, who is interacting with the protocol. Then something bad happens, the protocol needs to know how to automatically respond to such attack transactions, to respond to such bad things, right? So why the proactive approach is much important in Web3, right? Because we also have the Web2 security, and some guys saying that, why do we need that in Web3? Because we do not have that in Web2, why do we need have this in Web3? That's because the Web3 introduces much more attack vectors, and the openness in the blockchain makes the attack much easier than in the Web2, because everyone can looking on a smart contract on the blockchain. Most of the smart contracts on the blockchain are open source, so the good guys and the bad guys, they can see all the same source code, right? They can find the vulnerability in the source code. Then if there is a vulnerability, then they can attack the vulnerability to gain a large number of profits. And also because the blockchain is anonymous, it's very hard, if not impossible, to track the funnel flow of an attacker, right? So when an attack happens to the DeFi protocol, we always saying that the protocol asking who can help us to contact Beyonce, who can help us to contact some exchange, because it's very, very hard, to track the fund flows for the attackers. And also, the flash loan helps to enlarge the money that an attacker can have, right? So in the Web2, if you find a vulnerability, and in order to launch this attack, you need to have $2 million US, but most of people, they do not have such a big money to launch an attack. But in blockchain, you have the flash loan, right? You can borrow a very large number of money from the flash loan services, and then launch an attack, and then pay back to the flash loan. And also some private transaction services, it can be abused, to launch an attack. We have seen so many attacks, they were abusing the Flashbot services, to issue the attack transaction from being observed in the memory pool. So because all of these unique properties in the Web3, the attackers happened in Web3 space, cause more damages to the protocols, cause more damage to the users, right? And it's much hard to track the attackers in Web3. So because of all these reasons, so in Blocksec, we have developed a prototype system since last year, since February 2022. We are thinking about how to solve these issues besides the code auditing, right? So we think can we take a more proactive solutions to defend the DeFi hacks? So based on this thoughts inside Blocksec, we have developed a system called Phalcon Block. So Phalcon Block, the basic idea of Phalcon Block is that we can listen to the transaction inside the memory pool. We can listen to the transaction on the blockchain. We also listen to the reverted transactions, right? So why do we need to listen to the reverted transaction? That's because the attackers, they may make a mistake, and the attack transaction can be reverted, right? So if we can capture such reverted attack transaction, we can also automatically make some response. After that, we can reconstruct, right? We can reconstruct the attack logic by replaying the attack transactions and copy the essential logic, attack logic of the attack contract to synthesize a new rescue smart contract and then issue the rescue transactions through some flashbots or by giving a higher gas fee, something like that, to make sure that our rescue transaction can be much quicker or can be on the blockchain behind the attack transactions. So by doing so, right, we can even block the attack transactions, right? So because we are much faster and we are in the header of the attack transaction inside the block. So the essential part of this mechanism or this system is how to automatically reconstruct the attacker transaction and the attacker contract. So I think the basic idea is think about attacker transactions and an attacker smart contract. What matters most in this attack contract, right? So what matters most is the attack logic inside this smart contract. And also the attackers, they will perform some authentications to the callers of this attack smart contract because they do not want their attack smart contract being called by others. So you need to bypass all these checks automatically, right? So what do we do? So we replay this attack transaction inside the memory pool. We can get a chain of the basic blocks or the trace of this attack transactions, right? Of a chain of the basic block. So in this chain of the basic blocks, we can replace the jump I instructions. We call it frozen the jump I instructions into the jump instruction, jump to the attack logic instead of the reverted basic block. That is because of the failure of the authentication of the attack contract. So we can simply replace the jump I instructions to the jump instructions. So this is the basic idea of how the methodologies. But when we do the, but just simply replacing the instruction does not work in all cases because we have some technical challenges. One of that, one of that is how to deal with the reuse basic block inside the smart contract. The reuse basic block is a very common usage by the bytecode generated by the compiler to reduce the size, to reduce the code size. So suppose we have like two different jump targets, RA1 and RA0, and we have some new jump targets, right? So we need to have a mapping between this old jump target and the new jump targets. So we use a trampoline basic law for this purpose. So the basic idea is it's just similar with the binary code rewriting, which we have started and developed, I think, more than 2 decades, right? Even earlier for the code rewritten techniques. So we borrow the similar ideas and used into the bytecode rewritten. And by using this system, we have a couple of successful stories to rescue the funds to block the attack transaction for a couple of protocols. Like we rescued $500 million this year for the ParaSpace and $3.8 million for the Settle Finance last year, and a couple of others. So in the following, I'm going to talk about a couple of representative examples of how we block these transactions. So for the ParaSpace, which happened, the attacker happened this March, right? The attacker made some mistakes, right? So they did not give enough gas to perform the attack. So the attack transaction reverted. As I just said, we listened to the reverted transaction on blockchain, and we found that the transaction was reverted, and we found it's an attack transactions. And then we automatically synthesize a similar attack contract by replace the profit addresses with our own addresses, and we issue these transactions, and the transaction successfully on the blockchain to rescue the $5 million for ParaSpace. And another example is a platypus, which was attacked in this February. The smart contract has a vulnerability, and the attackers they attack this DeFi protocol. But the attackers, he or she made a mistake. There is no logic to withdraw the funds inside the attack smart contract. So the question becomes how to withdraw the remaining $2.4 million inside the attack contract, because there is no logic, to withdraw these remaining funds inside the attack contract. So because we have an internal system to automatically disassemble the attack smart contract, and we have some heuristic, to analyze this attack smart contract, and we found a couple interesting facts about this attack smart contract. First, the flash loan callback of that contract is open. Second, the USDC approved to the platypus pool contract. So what can we do? We can upgrade the pool contract and use the approved privilege by the attack contract to withdraw the remaining USDC, right, inside this attack contract. And we shared the proof of concept to the protocol, and the protocol successfully, withdraw $2.4 million from this from attack contract. So another is the transit swap. Transit swap was attacked and front-run by MUV bot. So we found that the addresses of the MUV bot was generated by a vulnerable profanity tool, right? The profanity tool, because the vulnerability, we can calculate the private key of this MUV bot, and we can, withdraw our funds and return to the protocol. So how to make this system more effective? I think we have some insights. You need to act fast, right? You need to know fast, and you need to act fast. And accuracy is the key. You cannot introduce too much false positives, as we have a panel yesterday, and we are talking about the false positive of our monitoring tool. If your monitoring tool reports too much alarms to your customers, then the product cannot be used, right? And we can take a systematic way to act, not just front-run the attackers. We have some tools to analyze the contracts, to disassemble contract. We have some heuristic, to perform more analysis on the body code. We take all these measures to build a system, to build a product. And we saw an arm race between the attackers and the security researchers. We see some attackers, they are using obfuscation, some runtime measures, to defend all these things. So based on this, we build a Phalcon Block system, and we have a waiting list so that if you guys are interested, you can join our waiting list, to get updated information of the Phalcon Block system. And we also have a teach group under the Twitters. You guys, if you're interested, you can follow us. Thanks, and I'm free to take in questions if you have. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andy. So I think we have 2-3 minutes for questions. Heidi's here.
Hey, I don't want to shill their tools too much, but they're really badass, first off.
Thanks.
Second off, the one question I have is you guys do a lot of hackbacks, let's just call them that, right? How do you guys protect yourselves from the liability of doing that and all of the legal garbage that comes along with doing that?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Yes, and the security ethics is we are taking very seriously. So for the hacking back or for the blocking attack transactions, we only perform these actions after we saw an attack transaction in place. We do not perform such attack transaction, without seeing other ones is doing that. Yeah. So I think because we are, protecting users and we take a proactive approach, if we do not take action, then the bad guys, they will take action. They will take all the monies. Right.
Any other questions? We got a bit of time. Nope. Well, we got one over there.
So maybe that's a follow-up to a question, but so that means that if, let's say, somebody finds a vulnerability that has not been exploited and there is no attack transaction, you are legally prevented from acting on do a white hat hack and save the user's funds?
So we are not, so let me rephrase. So we are not hacking the user's funds. So we just automatically reconstruct the contract by the attackers and then move the funds inside another wallet. Then we will return back to all these funds to the protocol and to the users. So yeah, I think it's debatable for the ethics issue. But if we only do these things with the heart of protecting users, I think we are good here.
Got time for one more. Don't be shy. Yep.
So it's clear you're doing the right thing. Do you have any actual legal protection in place? Do you have a lawyer sitting there and checking that?
Currently, we do not actually. Yeah, but we will consider, hire a new one. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Andy. Thanks so much. Thanks for your time. Give it up for Andy. Thank you.